Well, good morning all of you and welcome to misty Sweden and my little village, Kalvsvik. This is south parts of Sweden, right in the middle of the country where I live. And as you see, this is quite a small village. You don't see that many houses. We are actually like 275 or something households in this village. And this is, well, the center of it all, right by the church in Kalvsvik, south of Sweden. And this is my little cottage garden, and today I want to give you a garden tour from this lovely little place that I have created. And as you see, this place is just right beside the main road through our little village. So it's kind of, it's not correct to say it's like much traffic, but it's more traffic than we do have in our home. I just wanted to give you just a short introduction and show you how it looks like, how the house is based, but I will move away from the road because we have kind of heavy traffic sometimes and people drive very fast. It always bothers me a lot, of course. My name is Sara Bäckmo, and I am a Swedish influencer. I run a garden blog, 2 garden blogs actually, and some accounts in social media showing people how I grow vegetables. And I have done that for several years, and I've written 6 books in Swedish, and I have this social media accounts also in English, trying to share what's possible to do in Sweden and cold climate gardening. It's really exciting. I have my home garden. You follow that a lot, some of you. I really appreciate that. But this is not my home, right? This is my office. And before I start this garden tour, I want to tell you something quite briefly just about this place. This is actually only 3 kilometers away from my home, so it's based in the same village. I don't know if you hear it because right now there's only some birds, but just behind me in the fog, I hear very clearly this village school. So the school is based right in the middle of this little cottage and our home. So it's very close to each other. And I have been writing and sharing like videos and blog posts and pictures from my home since I started doing this garden project in 2011, creating my big vegetable garden. And in February 2019, I remember me standing in my polytunnel making a hotbed, and I then thought to myself that, well, Sara, how many times can you actually make a hotbed at home, keeping it like interesting? Well, I can do that several times more than I have done, of course, but maybe sooner or later it will be a good idea to find a new place, creating a new garden to sort of refresh my methods and my way of writing and sharing my garden. So I stepped inside to my husband saying that, you know, this kind of idea that we have had, because we have talked about this before, for me to get like a cottage or creating a new garden somewhere, maybe it could be time in a few years. And my husband said to me that, did you see that they are actually selling the house just close to the church? No. And so I found this house. They had an ad for it on internet, and I came here looking just before anyone else, and I fell in love with it. And you know, I have passed this little cottage 1,000 times or so. I have been living in this village for 16 years, and as you see, it's just by the road, so you pass it nearly every day, a few times. I have never really thought about it, but when I came here and I saw the cottage and also the possibilities with this garden, I was overwhelmed, and I thought that this is just the place. I sometimes say to myself that, just let it pass. I sometimes describe it to myself as it's like if it has my name on it. If I find a pair of trousers or whatever, is it like Sara written on it? And this cottage definitely says Sara. So I had the possibilities, or I created possibilities so that I could buy it. My company bought it because I have all my business in a company, of course. So I bought it, and I got the keys in March 2019. I kept it as a secret the whole year, didn't tell anyone, and in December 2019 it was a kind of a big surprise to all my readers and also to you, that I had bought this place, and I had prepared videos for like vlogs and etc., and shared that in like December and also in springtime in my English channels. And you will find all that material if you search for Oak Hill Cottage at sarabackmo.com, or check the playlist Oak Hill Cottage at this YouTube channel. And after this video is finished, I will put the links in the description and also on top here, so you can come back. And in the vlog posts, I have shared all my work with this garden, because this was simply nothing. It was, well, I don't find the correct words, but you imagine a lawn, not very well kept at all. It was all dried and it looked miserable. And this was the place that I bought. It was nothing grew here except a pear tree that stands here. It's long gone now. And from that I created this garden that I will show you now. So in first year I created like 8 or 10 garden beds, and I grew an amazing garden. You can watch that in the vlog. And from that I continued this year, and I will tell you more about it when we walk through. So if you have any questions about this, about the garden or my work here, you can just send me a question in the description or in the comment section, sorry, and I will try to make like a Q&A and answer, so you will get to know all the things you wonder. Now let me just turn the camera for you, and we start this garden tour late September in 2020, south of Sweden. So this is how my garden looks like when I come from home. And all this garden is based upon a hill. And this is practically the only hill in this area. So I bought like the mountain. And this cottage name in Swedish is also the mountain. It sounds like it's like Himalaya or something, and in the surroundings, well, it's pretty much like that. It's really, you're watching from Thailand. Good morning. In Sweden it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know where you are exactly and what time it is in your place, but this is a foggy morning in Sweden. This is the outhouse. Where I keep like tools, and I have an extra fridge in here. My dream is to renovate this in next year. Kind of a big space, and I want to create something like a studio or so in here. This area I sort of renovated with a new ground, what do you call it, gravel, in June. It was just lots and lots of weeds in here by then. I thought I would go with you up on this mountain. I mean, it's actually kind of amazing for me. I am grown up in on an island outside Gothenburg, a small tiny island outside Gothenburg, and my dad is a boat builder, so I was very close to the sea, and of course we had lots and lots of rocks, and the mist was always very special to me because, I mean, this was a very small island, and you will soon see the similarities. Living on an island and having this small mountain. You could imagine the sea over here, can't you? But today it's very misty. And here's the church of this village, Kalvesvik. And here is my dog, Kuling. He's a Newfoundland dog and he stays with me here when I am working. The old post office, this yellow building, in my little cottage. And this cottage was actually the home for the man who sort of took care of the church and dug all the graves, etc. So it has a very special name in Swedish, Dödgrävarens hus. I don't know how exactly to translate that, but it's a bit of a crazy name. And you don't see that today, but just behind my little cottage and a bit further down is a lake. So I am like the boat builder's daughter who has her own mountain with a view out over the lake. So it's a perfect place for me, really. And just to finish this thought about the mist, because this was very special to me when I was a kid, because as I said, I'm grown up just in the middle of the sea, a small island, and my father is a boat builder. We had lots and lots of boats, so I am very connected to the sea. And it's also like a kind of a sadness that I can't live in the sea right now, but you know, you can't have all of it. But when I was a kid, and sometimes when lots and lots of fog, really thick fog, and sometimes when it blew like from a specific direction, the fog had a very, very typical smell, not very pleasant, and that was the smell of the fog from England. So when we were surrounded by this fog, smelling in this way, it was like it reminded me that I am somehow in the middle of something, in the middle of a world, but I can't see it because I am in the middle of a sea. So it's very special. But here, this mist don't have that kind of smell. So this is my little mountain, and I am dreaming of creating something very special here, of course, on top of this little hill. And this is the big oak, gave this hill its name, and in a very long time ago, the main road through our village was just, here, and that was way before the church was built. Hey, Kuling! So here's Kuling. We are going for a walk later on. Hey, gubben. It's a bit boring to sit here, of course. In this area, this lawn, the old lady who had this cottage, well, way before me, she grew vegetables up here. So the first thing I did when I was here to check this place was to bring a stick with me. And I actually, before I even got to see the house, I went over, back and forward this garden and put the stick in the ground just to measure if there was any soil in here and where I could possibly grow some vegetables. Well, there are, of course, a lot of good soil up here, but close to the hill, no soil at all. So it's not possible to grow anything at all up there as it is at this very moment. You have to prepare with, first of all, a watering system, and then you can create basically whatever, but you will have to have a good plan. Don't know if you see this tiny little spider net over here. All right, so now this is the, well, there are 2 fruit trees up here, and it's a plum tree and an apple. I am thinking about well, to take them down because I don't need them really, but that will be a project for later on. Here I have another project. It's a tiny perennial garden. I am creating it along with my oldest son, Otto. He is 11. And this is what I am going to work with today. That's a nice comment, Lynn. So this is a perennial planting. We are preparing for a little hedge here, and the kids have made a small path in here with wood chips they have made. And I have the peonies growing in the grass. I'm going to mulch that later on, maybe today. All right, so here the house is facing south in this direction, and this is where I started to create my vegetable garden in spring last year. So I started close to the house making a few garden beds. And what makes this very special is that I didn't dig anything at all except a small, what do you say? Almost like a ditch around each bed to prevent the grass from growing into my garden beds. And I explain this more, I think, in the videos and also in blog posts from Oak Hill Cottage Garden that you can read at sarabackmo.com. So I prepared this. It's so nice to show you this. This is actually the first bed that I created, and I started the same day as I got the keys to this building. So the structure is almost like a banana, the shape of it. So it's one bed in the middle, and I have the perennial flowers, I forgot the name, close to the house. There's a bed in the middle, and there's also a small bed just across the stone wall towards the road. So it's kind of a big space, and all of this was just an ugly lawn. It was very dry and not very well kept. I will come back to this area later on. So now I have in the beds right now, I have the strawberries growing just around, and this is plants that I made from plants in my home garden last year. So they didn't give me any berries this year, but will do next year. They grow very well. And in the middle I have carrots. They are sown in July, and it's kind of late. People think to make sowings of carrots in July in Sweden, but this is actually, I talk about this a lot in Sweden. We have great use in knowing that there are different carrot types that you can choose. And this is what we call early varieties of carrots, or summer carrots. And summer carrots and early carrots, they grow fast, and from sowing to harvest you can estimate like 3 months. When it comes to the more hardy varieties, winter carrots and like fall type of carrots, they grow slowly, but they will stand long in the ground, and this will not. So by choosing different varieties, I can sort of extend my my season. More carrots. And now let me see, Jerusalem artichokes, flowering. The variety called Bianca. And here's a bed with green things, as you can see, leaves. These are not green, the purple variety. This is beetroot. And I grow them especially for the leaves, so I can have, well, in salad bowls. I made a radio show this summer. It was kind of a huge thing, and very honorable to be invited to this, a summer show in well, with millions of listeners, talking about my garden project. And to celebrate that, I made a sowing that very day in July, and this is plants from that sowing. Here I have had the peas, and it's green peas. It's not the sugar snap peas, it's, you know, I have harvested a few kilos of this. You know, the green, oops. It's difficult to do this with only one hand. Oops, only one left. But these are the one I get from this kind of pea, and I put them in the freezer. Super tasty. Corn. Unfortunately, this is the second year I try to grow this pink popcorn, and it's from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. And first year I didn't get anything to harvest, and then I thought, well, I was a bit too late with sowings, so I made the sowings in perfect time this year. But this variety, even though it's described as a fast growing, matures in not that many days, it's not working in Sweden. So, well, not too happy about that, but hopefully I can get one of them to harvest. As you can see, most of them, they grow kind of well. And the garden beds here are created from, I didn't use soil, I didn't order that much or anything to create this garden, and it's very special, and that's what I want to show with this garden, that you don't need that many things to get started. The thing with this garden is also that I came to a point with my garden at home where I got so tired and almost sick about people coming uninvited to our garden. They could come whenever, just step into the garden, taking pictures and wanting me to show them and to sort of entertain them. And it's not possible for me to do that, but I still want to inspire by my gardening. So with this place, people can actually park by the church and they can walk by and just check the garden. So in this case, it's very important for me to show that you don't have to order tons of compost with a truck and then fill up like raised beds or to get started. You can actually start with nothing. The most important thing for me is to start with things that can actually become soil later on. So what my kids did, you see the rocks here, it was all covered with this kind of material. So they simply, well, they rolled it down the hill, and I put it upside down in this bed, in this shape. So I simply grow things in this kind of surface, made sowings and planted things in this, and then mulched it all with grass clippings from the church. And I knew already when I bought this place that I would have great use from the church, because I have already in my home garden, I go to the church to get grass clippings. So I can just show you. This was the first bed I made, and this one I created with turned grass. I don't find the correct words, but as I showed you, so I wanted to have like pure soil, so I could make sowings, and all of the other beds were made for planting. But now I have this very good soil, so that I can actually make sowings as well. And this is I didn't like add something extra. This is how the soil becomes when you mulch it with things. Same here. The worms will turn the grass clippings into new perfect soil, and it will be very good for me to grow in this garden like next year. I mean, I can't complain this year either. It grows perfectly well. But I thought I could pick up this theme in a video next week maybe, and showing you more how I start like a garden bed with this method. So here I made like a compost bed with this fence. I think we have translated a blog post about this as well. And here I actually bought a few sacks of compost for a project in winter where I wanted to see how it worked to make like winter sowings. Didn't work that well since I don't live here and I don't care for this place the same I do at home in my home garden. So this is actually what I did last year. So all of the space I prepared up to this point is made last year. And for this year I gave myself a challenge and the challenge was to create one new garden bed for vegetables each month and to document it at my website. I have not yet translated those articles for you because they are like a membership content. In January, February next year, we will release that content also for you following my English channel. So we are creating a membership site also in English where I share some of my most like valuable content. So I made in January, February, March, April, June and July, and this was like a side project just for fun. In this bed I grew potatoes this year, and no, it was not potatoes, it was onions. So I harvested the onions in summertime and I planted my specialty. I am very good in growing cabbage and kale. And this is actually the Chinese cabbage, pre-cultivated and planted in, let's say, July or August, I don't remember what. They are huge and they are ready to harvest. I will try to wait another few weeks because we have lots of lettuce that I want to finish at first. Right? So I've had lettuce here as well. More Chinese cabbage. I grow Chinese cabbage because they stand long in the garden, also in Sweden, and they can stand some frost. If I covered it with fabric, it's even more hardy. So it's very good and the kids love it. So this place here I grew potatoes first, and then I planted out very small seedlings of Chinese cabbage. Some varieties do not like it here in Sweden, but I think this is Natsuki from my own seed collection. I have a seed collection in Sweden and northern countries. This is one of my favorite, absolutely favorite leafy greens. I call it like the queen of winter gardening. And the story behind this is really fascinating when you live in a country like mine. Because it's very popular in Sweden to buy and eat the corn salad. Lamb's lettuce and corn salad. And we actually buy it in small plastic bags imported from like Italy. This is so stupid. So we buy it in 70 grams of this leafy green. They taste absolutely amazing, but the one seeds package costs the same as 70 gram of this lettuce in the supermarket. And one seeds package will last for a family a really long time. The perfect thing with this corn salad is that it is actually super hardy and no one knows it. So we have a perfect garden, we have the raised bed, the pellet collars or whatever, standing completely empty in winter, in late fall and winter and in springtime. And what people should do, we should actually go buy some lamb's lettuce, just sprinkle the seeds. This is what I'm going to do in this place, in summer or in fall. And in just a short while, you will end up with like the most perfect plants you can ever imagine. And you can eat it all winter through. They will last in the bed, even under a cover of snow. So in Sweden here we could have like minus 30 degrees. Of course they are a bit damaged, but most of them will stand perfectly well. And you see those tiny little plants, you can start eating them already by now. I simply pull them through the ground and I rinse them. You can eat the tiny little root as well. They will grow bigger and bigger and provide me with so much food. And this is perfect for growing vegetables in a cold climate. Lamb's lettuce, corn salad. Do never forget that. This is a bed where, well, people have asked me lots of things about this. What are you actually growing here? It looks like pepper, but you can't grow pepper outdoors in Sweden, can you? And yes, you can, of course, if you know how to, and you have to be very careful with the varieties. Here I grow lipstick. It's a perfect pepper growing outdoors in Sweden. Some of them are a bit damaged. We have had a few insects, don't know what they call them, but if they start to eat and the fruit will get damaged and they will rotten. And here you see I also practice the mulching technique, so I create a new space only by putting like garden scrap on top, and I simply make a small hole in it where I put some compost and a plant, and it will grow perfectly well. In here I also have a drip watering system. When I came today I have had some problem with, I think it's a fox, playing with the water hose. So they have destroyed, this fox have destroyed for me in another space in the garden, and they had played today with this one. Not very good. This raised bed, it's made from traditional Swedish pallet collars. It's very common in Sweden to use this way to start a vegetable garden. I have grown vegetable here this year from a late sowing in June. All harvested now, and yesterday I prepared this, so I am going to make a new sowing of leafy greens. No, that's what made in May, or was it June? Because I think this was made in June. And I made sowings and plantings of summer flowers. There's a big car coming now, so I will make a pause while it's passing. So I made plantings in this raised bed and direct sowings in this bed in late June, and as you can see it thrived in here. This is what you call a raised bed in other parts of the world, but they look a bit different. I have covered the ground with a fabric, ground fabric, and on top of it I have wood chips. This is from our one of our 2 local saw companies. They deliver it here. It's very, very good. Here is another. Oh, hi Dixie. Yes, I will explain this to you who just jumped right into this. I am Sara and I run a garden blog at sarabackmo.com. Mainly I write about my home garden, Skillnadens trädgård, Sara's kitchen garden. But in March 2019 I bought a cottage where I can keep my job. So I go to this tiny little beautiful cottage in our village to write my books and my blogs and etc. And this is the garden I am creating at work, so to say. So this is my cottage garden, not my home garden. But as you can see, I grow plenty of vegetables also here. So we are never hungry. So that's where we are at this very moment. One thing I really appreciate with this garden is that it's not completely flat. So I have this hill, and this garden is the first of 1, 2, 3. I think I can fit in 4, like a terrace. So I'm climbing up this slope with garden beds. So I can show you in a blog post, if it's not already translated, how I did it. This is unfortunately one thing I do have a lot of problem with. In Swedish we call them the killer slug, the Spanish slug. Plenty of them here. And this is actually one of the most common questions I get, both about my home garden and this cottage garden. People saying that I have big dreams, I want to grow things. But I simply can't do it because we have so many slugs. And I do too have slugs in both my gardens, and they are big problems. They, giant slug. They eat plenty. This is the brown slug. We also have the black slug, but they live in the forest, so they don't come to the gardens to eat. But they produce lots and lots of eggs, and they are just terrible. But I mean, this is what I can do even with slugs in the garden. This is not even my home garden, and this is something I want to preach so much, that I mean, this is a garden. It's 3 kilometers away from my home. I am not here every day because I work part-time and I have a big family to care for, so it's not possible for me to like stay overnight several times each week to go out in the garden to weeding or whatever. But I still manage to keep it in a good way, and it produces so much food for me, and gives me also very much joy. It's difficult, of course. It's difficult at home too. What? Unthought. There are no slugs in Sweden. Oh, sorry, I didn't understand that. Are people saying there are no slugs in Sweden? In north part of Sweden it's too cold. And yes, ducks, people always give me comments about ducks, but I mean, how could I possibly have ducks in here? I can't keep them. It's just beside the road. It's way too much work for me to put up the fence and to come here to feed them, etc., etc. It's not possible. And as I say in Sweden, most people cannot have ducks. We do not all live in the countryside. We are not having a life where it's possible for some people to have animals at all. So we have to find other ways to garden along with the slugs, or to find other ways to kill them. And there are good ways in Sweden with nematodes and also with the pellets. With it's a specific poison. It's allowed to use in organic gardening. So there are ways to keep gardening also with slugs in the garden. I don't use the heavy poison in this garden or in my home garden, because I simply don't want to use it because we have many kids. But there are better ways to use, and it's possible. So in this garden I grew my cabbage this year. So I have planted some white cabbage here. And when they were harvested, the cosmos and the tobacco took over, and the chrysanthemum. This is the first year I grow chrysanthemum, and I love them, completely love. This is just the color that I love, and I have had great tips on how to overwinter them to get an early flowering next year. I will write about that later on. So this is what I'm going to do later on now, start to climbing this little hill. Except that I don't have any plans to right now to start gardening up on this, well, up here. I will keep it as a lawn for a while, because it's very important for me not to rush and create many things that I can't take care of. And it's, I think in a way it's amazing that I can manage this garden so good, because I also have like 500 square meters and 3 greenhouses at home to take care of. I will try now to, oh, Olga, the average of temperatures in autumn. Right now it's well, it's late in September, and we have I think a very warm fall this fall. We have had one frost night, and that was I think 2 weeks ago. But as you see here, I mean, corn is very sensitive for cold temperatures. So it freezes when it's below 0, of course, as do the pumpkins, the cucumbers, well, most of the summer flowers, etc., etc. And this garden is actually based, as I said, 3 kilometers from our home garden. And when we had frost at home, much of my plants were destroyed. So in that garden, it's not like filled with all the kinds of vegetables you see here, because we didn't have any frost here. So there are local differences when it comes to temperature. Right now we have, I think this night was a bit cold, and it was 8 degrees Celsius. It's very warm for this season. Most of the times right now, I think we have above 10 degrees. Some nights we have, I think it was 14 degrees. So it's very hot. The other day we had 20 degrees in daytime Celsius. So it's a bit upside down. It shouldn't be like this. It should be frost. But I'm happy because it's still flowering. Sorry, reading the comments at the same time. I will just walk you through here. I enjoy this this flowering borders. It's just amazing. And people ask me how I manage to keep it this way, and I will soon tell you a bit about this. But you see, the plants are quite big, the chard, And considering I didn't add any soil at all when I created this bed, well, it is kind of amazing. It's really growing well. Oh my God, I could stand here just laughing, you know. What I did here, it's described in the videos you can see in the playlist. And the playlist name in my YouTube channel is Oak Hill Cottage Garden. Please check the videos. But what I did was simply I put directly on top of the lawn, on the grass, I put newspapers and cardboards, and on top of that I put like plant materials, grass clippings and leaves, and if I had some manure I put that on top too. And then I made just a little hole in the ground. It's filled with roots now, so it's a bit difficult, but a little hole and some extra compost, and then I put in my plants. So no sowing in this type of bed, just planting. And then keep mulching with grass clippings. And you see that I have the wood chips in the ground. So layers and layers of organic materials that will turn to soil. I have no use for the soil in the beginning, but as you see, the grass underneath is now turning to soil by a compost process. This is completely natural. You don't have to add anything except materials that will turn into soil, and you will have to count on nature that it will actually work. And yes, wood chips only on the pads, not on top of the bed. What I do have here is kind of a super nice thing, because as I said, this is 3 kilometers away from home, and a garden with this many plants provides a lot of water, and since I am not here, it's not possible for me to water. What I have is a solar cell system, so I have not prepared for, don't know the correct words, sorry about this, but irrigatia is this system's name. And I buy them in Sweden, and I know they are possible to buy also abroad. So I have one solar cell panel, and I have the hose. Here you can see the fox damaged it by playing, so I took it away. But usually I have the hose down here underneath the wood chips into a soaker hose. Can't see it directly here. I will go to another place. This is actually super amazing, I think. Here it is spotted. So here's the water hose, and I have it in this direction and then the way back. And around this water hose was only in the beginning of the season this kind of materials. And here you can see, if we come closer, you see this is compost, soil. And if I bring it up, oh, I don't know if you see it. Yeah, you see there's a worm in here, right? And this is what I talked about in my live stream from last week from my home garden. When you put this kind of material, not fresh compost, not already decomposed soil, when you put this material on top of your bed, your garden bed, you will feed thousands of worms. And the worm will actually poo, and you see this is like small corn. I don't know how to explain this, but this is not the kind of soil you see in your soil otherwise. This is actually worm poo, and all of it is filled with small worms. So from this in the beginning of the summer to this in September, provided by the worms, and you see them all over the place. Worms, worms. And as I said in my last video, this is kind of a mission for me to talk about this, because if you know about those things, you don't have to rush to a garden store to provide whatever you need to start a garden. You only have to go to your neighbor saying, can I get your leaves or your grass clippings or your garden waste? I mean, the leaves from plants that you have in your garden. You don't throw it away, you put it on top of the soil or your garden bed, and it will give you very good things next year. We'll just wait for the tractor to pass. And just to repeat that very important thing, one worm will provide you with 0.5 gram poo worm manure. You can actually buy worm manure in the garden store. It's kind of expensive, but you can produce it on your own in your own garden by providing food to the worms. Simple as that. Do it. Here is my front door, and in wintertime I had a dream, a thought. I wanted to be able to open this door, look out through the door, and to see something beautiful. Not only this miserable lawn that we had in front of this door before, and I can show you a bit just how it looked like. So this is kind of how it looked. It's well, it was filled with more grass, of course, but what I did, starting I think in April, was to dig a little ditch around a new garden bed that I wanted to create. I filled the area inside this little ditch with newspapers, cardboards, and on top of that I put fresh horse manure and grass clippings. That was it. And then I put this water hose from the solar cell system. And in June I planted hundreds and hundreds of summer flowers that I had pre-cultivated at home and brought to this place. And I will just wait for another car, maybe? No, it was not a big one. Well, this is the way it looked. It looks right now. And now you have to consider that it's late in fall. So some of the flowers are already long gone, but I have grown plenty of straw flowers and the dahlias, the giant verbena, sweet peas, bronze fennel, more dahlias, zinnias, tobacco, plenty of things. And as you see here, this is close to the road. So it's kind of a transformation that I did from nothing at all to this in just a few months. Here you see the structure, the grass clippings on top, fresh horse manure, it's nearly not possible for me to dig in here. I think this may be, no, here is the cardboard, and this must be the former lawn decomposing under this layer. And what do you see? This is the kind of bastards I was talking about before. They eat so many of my dahlias and the vegetables. I hate them. This one I love. You see all of the space filled with worms, and they will help me to create a really nice garden bed here. And in here I also have this solar cellar soaker hose to provide this bed with water. And then we are back where we started. I have wood chips in a pathway just by the hill here, and it's not possible for me to like work with this space right now because it's well, it's like overgrown with flowers. And Dixie, yes, you were right. I can sit down for a while, just answering some of the questions. I just want to tell you that when choosing the flowers for this specific area, I have chosen like cut flowers except the tobacco, because I really love growing tobacco, not to make like cigarettes or the Swedish snus, but because I simply love the scent and the way they look. This is the Virginia tobacco here, and I really like to grow that because in Sweden we don't have that many plants that will give this almost exotic well, look to a planting. But the Virginia tobacco does that, along with a few of the squash and etc. So I chose all the varieties for this bed so that I could put it or them into like arrangements and bouquets with flowers, because that is kind of a new interest for me. I have never ever been interested in growing like cut flowers to put in a vase inside our door, inside our house, because it's a bit too messy in our house to keep the flowers indoors. It sounds silly, but that's the truth. We have 4 children and a giant dog, so it's always kind of broken. But I started to be interested in this in last summer, 2019 then, thinking that I wanted to create a bed where I can pick cut flowers. So this year I have, as you see, I have plenty of flowers to use in bouquets, and oh, I am just in love with it. So Dixie asked me once again about how I create those beds, and I thought I can pick up that theme and maybe show you directly in another video, in a live stream next week. But just to repeat it, can go up here. All of this space, and this space, the kitchen garden, and now the flower garden, all of it, I do it exactly the same way, because I don't want to be too tired by digging. It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy to dig things. But if I have the space here, let's say I want to make a garden bed here, I pretty much make a ditch. I can show you this next week. Just creating a form. It's not, you don't have to do that. If you, for example, choose to put wood chips in the pathways just around the bed, the grass will not grow into your garden bed the same way. But small ditch, and cover the area inside that ditch where you're actually going to have your garden bed with newspapers or cartoons. Cardboards, sorry, not cartoons. So on top of that, you put manure or leaves or grass clippings or plant materials, whatever that will become soil, and that's the most important thing. So in a while, it will decompose on that specific place and will become fresh compost that you can use for sowings and plantings in just a short while. It will take 1 to 2 years, depending on how damp it is in that place, before it will turn to, well, actually soil. So it's, this is such a nice chapter in my garden life, to create new garden beds. I just love it, and I also get very inspired myself by seeing what I can actually create with very, little energy, and doesn't cost anything really. You just have to be smart. And well, I will get back to this. It's kind of a no dig the Sara way. It's not, I don't find that much information about this way of gardening in English speaking videos, etc. So it's kind of a nice thing to talk a bit more about it later on. But now, my dear friends, thank you for watching. I am having a day really off work. So I am going to work in my garden because I have no kids at home either. My youngest, Loa, he is 4 years old, and our kids, they start at preschool first when they are 4 years. So it's kind of a new thing for me to have a few hours on my own where I can have a cup of tea, walking the dog, picking the mushrooms in the forest, taking care of the garden, etc., or do whatever I want to. Thank you for watching, and thank you all for all the nice comments that you give through my videos. It's really amazing to read. In Sweden, people are not that generous with the comments on videos, so I am a bit overwhelmed that you actually send so much love through the comment section. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you again next week, and don't forget to check sarabackmo.com for more blog posts and articles from my garden. Bye all of you.